This is Xavier X Man Carter, the only person to win the 100-400 double at the NCAA meet. Once the second fastest man of all time in the 200 meters, and the guy who I single-handedly give credit to Usain Bolt running 1919. By the end of his high school career, Xavier had won 9 state championship titles in the sprints. He was also the #1 ranked wide receiver in the country by his senior year. Standing at 6'3", he was a dynamic sight to see on the football field and on the track. He chose to attend LSU, where he would compete in both football and track and field. In his first 2 years, his phenomenal sprint speed was a key factor for LSU's football team. Many people believe he was destined to be the next NFL great, but his second and final year at LSU, it was evident which path he should take. He was a phenomenal superstar on the campus of LSU, but he had a dark obsession with the hood. While out of practice, Carter will always find himself in the hoods of Baton Rouge, Louisiana. This explains why he was struggling in the classroom. Despite being an extremely gifted athlete, he always sought out the approval. Shortly after his success at the NCAA championships, he announced that he would forego his remaining 2 years of college of eligibility in both track and football to join the professional track and field circuit. At the time, the 200-meter world record was held by Michael Johnson at 1932 from 1996 in Atlanta at the Olympics. Carter and his coach Dennis Xavier felt if he stayed focused, he would be the one to break this 1932 barrier. On July 11, 2006, his first race as a professional, Carter was set to take on Usain Bolt, head-to-head for the first time in Lausanne, Switzerland. This was set to be an epic showdown, the battle of the two rising 20-year-olds, but it turned out to be an utter annihilation. Xavier blew Usain Bolt out of the water. He clocked a time of 1963, Bolt ran 1988. This mark by X-Man stunned the world, and he proved that he was up next. This 1963 was the second fastest 200 performance of all time, right behind the 200-meter world record set 10 years earlier by Michael Johnson in Atlanta. He went on to race Usain 2 more times that season, where he beat him both times. On July 28, 2006, he signed a 6-year multi-million-dollar deal with Nike. This deal was set to run through the 2012 London Olympics. His 2007 season was plagued with a knee injury. He ran a few races, but not a full season as he would have liked. He ran against Usain Bolt twice this season, where he beat Bolt both times. These were his final times racing Usain Bolt in his career, where he finished with a 5-0 undefeated record against him. This pissed Bolt off, where he turned into an utter beast the next year in 2008. Carter was a beast on the track, but he was also married to the streets and could not leave the hood alone. Later, after that 2007 season, Carter, former New England Patriot Jermaine Cunningham, and former Gator Jonathan Demps were all arrested after getting into a fight at a Jimmy John's with one of the employees. They had become abusive and hit the employee with the empty soda can and a sandwich, and then left the store after being asked to pay for a bag of chips. X-Man had proved that he was a full-blown crash out. But 2008, he was fully recovered from his knee injury, and he went back to competing in the 400 meter for the first time since college. In his first race, Carter posted a time of 44.70 at the Reebok's Grand Prix, breaking Karan Clement's track record by 1/100th of a second. However, he dismissed the importance of this victory, saying that these track meets were only a way of preparing for the 2008 Olympic trials. Carter entered the 100 and 200 meter events at the 2008 Olympic trials. He ran a new personal best in the 100 heats and then finished last in the final. He also qualified for the final of the 200, but he did not start the final, missing out on the opportunity to run at the 2008 Summer Olympics in Beijing. Despite being a stepper on the track, Carter was stepping like a kappa on January 5th in the streets. On September 7, 2008, after his last meet, Carter was arrested in Gainesville, Florida for allegedly carrying a concealed handgun. The police stopped him because of his car stereo being too loud and claimed that they saw the handgun hidden. They found the loaded handgun and they arrested him. He was released the next day after agreeing to appear in court for the felony charge. His continuous struggles with the law overall caused him to fizzle out of the sport before the end of his contract in 2012. X-Man was the next great, but he had plenty of trouble with the law, and he always seemed that he kept on falling in with the wrong crowd. And it seems that Carter never really got his act together, even while being 38 years old right now. He had been arrested numerous times in the past few years. After track, he's been arrested in 2014, 2019, 2021, 2022, and 2023. And more than likely, he's in jail right now or on his way to it. He's a very, very unfortunate case of what could have been.